Hello, welcome to today's class. I um, thank God we are now able to have some classes going smoothly. So we talked about classes and IDs, and I felt before we proceed further in our CSS course, we should try to do a more in-depth class on selectors, not just classes alone, but also tag selectors. And we've been working with them all along, but we've not really talked about them alone specifically, and that is why I decided to record this so that I'll be able to understand it. Some might already understand it, but in case there's any question, I'd like to clarify it so that we'll be able to push forward quickly. So like I was saying, let's dive into our code. We are still working from our hello world folder. Basically this one, we added CSS and added a style to it, style document to it. This is our image that we're working with, and this is our index.html. So open your code editor and navigate to this file and open this in your VS Code. I have got mine open here already, and I also have the style sheet open here already. So now, if you notice in our HTML code, we have this my bio having an h3. We have basically we have my bio having an h3. We have what other things? Okay, we have this Beth-el's profile is h1. I'm looking for, okay, let's see, inside basic list we have h4, my favorite, then h4, then my bio. Let's just convert this to h4s for uniformity's sake, because because of the example I want to cite, I want several elements in our page, more than 2 elements having the h4 tag. So now back to our page, let's see it on the browser. We have this contact me is now h4, my bio is h4, and this is h4 as well, and list of favorite food is h4 also. So now one of the things we can do is that we can, like we selected the body tag and we selected the image tag and the table tag, we can equally select that specific h4 tag and do whatever we want with it. But the problem with selecting the h4 tag is same thing that will still occur if we select let's say the p tag. Let's say we select the p tag. If you notice, we have several elements on our page that have the p tag. So any style we do, even though we intended it to happen for just this, it will happen to every other element that have the p tag. Every other element, including this one at the top. So let's try that first with the p tag before we go to the h4 tag. So now let's say we want all our p tag to have a font size of let's say 60 pixel. That's really big, right? Imagine what happens to all of them. Go to our browser, you see everything just grows very big. Everywhere we have the p tag, it just increases in size momentarily. And if you notice, we had several p tag. Probably we're trying to target this, but as you can see, everything wrapped around the p tag grows like that. But let's not do that. Let's bring it back to, let's say 20 pixels should do. Let's see what happens. 20 pixels is okay. Okay, now let's for instance, we want each p tag to have some let's say to have a margin of let's say 3 pixels around it, all around. Imagine what's going to happen to all of them. all of them will have a margin of 3 pixels. The problem now is we didn't want this specific pic tag to have that margin. That was what we tried to remove the last time in the last class. And by that pic tag ground, that 3 margin, see, it's adjusted this, adjusted it here also. If you notice, if you're seeing this, it's no longer equal, and our everything with a pic tag has kind of shrunk inside. That is the disadvantage of not using classes or IDs and styling a tag directly. That is why it's advisable we use classes or IDs. So I'm going to remove this, and I'll just leave the. Let's say we put a font family. Sorry, font family for I like the serifs. So, but I would normally want to put this not just for the p tag. So if you notice, the font have adjusted itself. But what you would normally do for a font family, it's not here. You put, even this thing on it. If you're working for the conventional way of doing this, you take all this and you put it at the beginning of your document, or where you have your body tag. Where you have your body tag, you will just put it here. So it affects everything, not just those things in your p tag, in your paragraph tag, but it affects everything. Every text inside would be within the same, having the same font family for uniformity. So, and every other text as well will carry the font size of 20 pixels, apart from the H1 here that we did. So now next, so let's still try with our H4. We've seen it. The same thing would happen if we wanted to style our H4. Let's say we put a font size of 60 pixels like we did. Everything in our document that has that, look at it, would grow. My bio, contact me, everything will grow that big. And sometimes, and that's probably not what we want. We don't want it to grow this large. We probably want to target maybe just this contact me or something, but because we are doing it generically, it will affect all the elements that have that specific tag. And that's the disadvantage of targeting tags, the HTML tag generically, rather than targeting its classes or ID. So now let's reduce this back. So let's say 20 or 30. I want it to stand out. So let's say 30 pixels, and you can see it stands out without being annoying. So now we already know if you want to target a class, like now we want to style this basic info. Okay, we've done some styling on it already. This basic list, for instance. If we want to style the elements within this basic list, we can pick it like we already pick it in our CSS and do the kind of styling we want to do. And if you notice, in our last class, I think we did something like that. For a class, we use a full stop, then the name of the class, then we start styling it with the rule set. Basically, that was what we did because we needed to clear both we did the float thing the other time, so we needed to clear both left and right. So now I don't want this background color brown. I want a something grayish, so I'll just do F4 and we'll see F4. Okay, so that's what I want, and I want a margin top of 50 pixels. I want let's see what happens. So it's now gray. With the text white. I want the text to be black. So color, let's just make it gray instead of black. This is coming out because of some extensions in VS Code. It's allowing that to come out. So I'll be able to choose colors rather than okay. So I don't, if you notice, these UL tags are outside of our margin. The bullet points and the rest, they kind of did not respect the margin, so they flew outside of the margin. So what we could just do is we could say basic list UL li. That's restyling the list item themselves. And we could say margin well, let's give it a margin left. Let's say 10 pixels and see if it will adjust itself. I said UL li, meaning I was referring to the unordered list, and if you notice, only the unordered list moved by 10 pixels. The ordered list did not move by 10 pixels. So let's try and target all of them together. So or we could just add it here rather than doing it separately. We could just put margin left so that it affects all. Margin left, let's put 30 pixels will probably do it, and I think it will affect everything including the color, the background color we added. And I don't want it to affect the background color, I want it to affect only the text alone. So now we have to think of a way around it, and the easiest way to go about it is to just go here, wrap everything under here. So we'll just create a new div tag, then we wrap everything in this section, everything within the section, we wrap it inside of that div tag. So we'll just cut it, then here I'll just paste it. I don't need this HR. So now in this div class that we just created, we can now put in this div tag, we can now put a class and name it inner, anything you want to name it, but I'll just, so that I would be able to target inner. So now I can now come to our CSS document and now say inner and I would now put a margin left of let's say 40 pixels. Let's see what happens. Of 40 pixels, and it works. It goes in. Everything went in, but I don't want this our background to have that margin, so I would go back to, I think we did that to margin left 30 pixels for our basic list. We remove that and see. So we are back. That is just the easiest way to sort out that situation so that everything will now be tucked in. Then we could basically, I think we've been able to clarify between tags, and I know we've not really done so much with IDs yet, but it's just basically the same thing. But we've been able to understand that using a generic tag, you edit to style an element. Sometimes, or most times, every tag that carries that, every element that has that tag in our document would carry that style. So it's not advisable most times to style generically, except we want every tag, we'll style it from the beginning of the document because we want everything. Let's say if we're using an H1 tag, we want all H1 to have a specific style, and we'll do it generically ourselves from the beginning. But once you want to pick, let's say you want to pick this H1 and you want to style it H4, sorry, and you now style the H4 tag, it will affect both this and every other H4 in your document. The way around it is to put a class or an ID on this specific one. Let's even do that. So let's say this list of my favorite food, I want to style it. Maybe I want to give it another color. List of my favorite, this H4, I want to style it and give it another color. The best way to do it alone without affecting other H4 is to put a class to it. And let's say food. Then we can come to our CSS here and target food, full stop food. Then and now probably give it a color of red. Then let's reduce the size. So we'll reduce the font size to, let's see, 10 pixel, and you see that will take effect immediately. You see it has reduced to 10 pixel. That is what we are talking. Let's say we want to even, okay, let's increase it to 30 pixel so that it will become very vibrant. This 30 pixel, and it's because we targeted only it with the class attributes rather than that same color applying to all our H4 tags. It's applied only to this one because we gave it that specific tag, and we made that style to it. So we can equally give it, instead of a tag, we can give it an ID also. We can change this to, instead of class, we can change it to ID. And if you notice, as I change it to ID, the class will the style will disappear from it. But what we can equally do, like I said, if you want to target an ID, you use the pound or hash symbol like this, and if you go back to it, you see the style has been applied. That's it. And I think I don't want this video to be long. I hope I've clarified between selecting a style, a tag directly, selecting an ID, and selecting a class. If there is any other questions from this, I would like you to ask and I will answer you directly. But my point of this video is just to clarify that as we proceed, we'll be able to work with our documents and do other style effectively. Thank you.